third graders. This week in science, you will create your nature journal and sharpen your observation skills with an activity called I Notice, I Wonder, It Reminds Me of. First, you will make your nature journal. Here are the materials you will need. First, you will need at least 8 to 10 sheets of paper. Your journal will need at least 14 pages front to back. So when you turn your pages in your journal, you will have at least 14 pages. You will need a tape or a stapler for binding your journal and a pencil. Colored pencils, crayons, and markers are optional. And you will need to bring your imagination and your growth mindset. Here are the journal directions. The size of the journal can be a large sheet of paper or medium. That would be a piece of paper folded in half. I have included 2 examples. When you create your journal, think about your writing and your drawing style. You may prefer the larger size so you have plenty of room. You will need at least 8 sheets of paper, at least 14 pages in your journal. So when you open your journal, you will use the front and the back of the paper. And finally, you will decorate your cover. You may include your favorite places in nature, your favorite animals and plants. It's up to you. Be creative. Here are 2 examples of my nature journals. One, I just used crayons to create kind of a sunset, and the other journal, I used crayons and magazines with images that I thought were really beautiful. It's up to you. Have fun, get creative, and spend as much time as you want to build a beautiful journal that we will be using over the next several weeks for your nature observations. This week, we will sharpen our observation skills with an activity called I Notice, I Wonder, It Reminds Me of. Today, we will share some tools and skills that will help you become a better observer. First, you will choose something outdoors to observe. I've included an image for this example. I know I'm making an observation when I start my sentence with the words, I notice. An observation is something we might perceive with our senses: sight, smell, touch, hearing, and taste. It is not an opinion or an identification of the object. Here's my example. I notice yellow, peach, lime green, burgundy, dark green, folds, points, shadows, and light. The next skill to practice is asking questions. Using the words I wonder. Ask as many questions as you can. And if nothing comes to you, just wait a few moments and try saying, I wonder out loud to see if anything comes to you. Questions may not come easily at first, but the more we practice this skill, the easier the questions come. Keep trying. I wonder how long it takes the plant to bloom each flower. How many flowers will this plant bloom? I wonder why one flower is drooping. I wonder why one bud looks larger than the other. I wonder why some of the leaves are lighter than the other. I wonder why the stems are a burgundy reddish color. I wonder why the leaves are about 1 inch. The next skill we will practice is called It Reminds Me of. It's making as many connections as you can to that object. Is this like something you've studied before, observed somewhere, or seen on a nature special? Have you seen this object before, or does it remind you of a structure or look like something else? Does it remind you of any experiences you've had or places you've been? So in this skill, we're practicing making connections to the object that we're observing. So this This object reminds me of a sunny day, drinking lemonade, and spending time in Palm Springs with my grandma. Now it's your turn to try. Step 1, go outside. If you can't go outside, look out a window. Find an object that captures your attention. It could be a leaf, rock, a tree, a cloud, seed, flower petal, anything in nature. Step 2, observe. Say, I notice, and share all the things that you are noticing aloud. Step 3, questions. Say, I wonder, and ask questions about your object. Step 4, make connections. Say, it reminds me of, and make as many connections to your object as you can. Remember to be playful and let your imagination be free. I encourage you to repeat this activity over and over, as it will sharpen your observation skills and prepare you for next week's Nature Journal activity. I hope you have fun.